Hey, how are you guys doing today? Today we are going to be checking out, well, I'm going to finish up this sculpt to about 50%, work on the wings a little bit, excluding the feathers. Good to hear that, Simon. Glad you're doing well. And then we're going to start talking about some ordered topology and what that really means and what it means as far as what we need for rigging and retopology and all that stuff. Before we get into that, I just want to let you know that I did figure it out. We got crits up from our last session, so you should be able to access those. If you have any issues accessing those, please let me know. I'm still learning the ropes here at UArtsy, so if there's ever any issue, please just hit me up and let me know what's going on. So that aside, this is where I left the sculpt last time. I still need to work on the wings. I need to work on the feet. And I need to flush out the head and the rest of the body. So I'm going to just start in. Before I start, do you guys have any questions about the work that you're doing? By the way, stuff looked awesome for everything that you posted up on the board. It was really, I was bragging about all the work that you guys are doing to Ryan and to a few other people in the office and some people at the Los Angeles Film School. So you guys are really doing a great job, and you guys are awesome artists. So I'm very lucky to have you in my workshop. So any questions before I move forward? Y'all good? Ash, Christian, Marcos, Simon? Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so at this point, I'm going to start flushing everything out. I'm going to start adding flesh and fat in here and sort of deciding what I want to keep and what I want to push. I'm going to start this time in the head. I'll also want to open the mouth, and I'll be using the clay brush for this. So I already have some stuff in here, but it's not really, I mean, it's still really chunky, so I want to come in and just start to flesh them out. Don't want to leave that flat. Just switch over to clay buildup. Just take that alpha off. Just make room for his ear back here. We want to punch that ridge there. Get some overlap. Sorry if I'm a little quiet while I'm sculpting today. Really want to get us into Maya within the hour. And what I'm thinking about is what's most important for me to bring in to Maya for retopology. What are the key features that I really need to have well shaped and formed in order for me to be able to create a nice base mesh. And at this point, I'm still not really concerned with feathers. Feathers will be a polishing touch at the end. On the wings, for the feathers, we'll be doing that inside of Maya. I'll go ahead and set up some bat-style wings in here too, so I can walk you through that. The webbing we'll be doing in Maya. I mean, we could play with it in ZBrush, and I can use eSphere retopology, but I think we'll get it faster in Maya. So I'm going to do most of that work there. So I'm doing a little softening up, make him feel like he has flesh. He's not anorexic. Trying to be careful not to be too destructive. I want to leave my anatomical cues in here. So I want to make sure I can see something of them in the surface. Tackle that tail today. And, you know, I'm starting to think of the volume of the feathers in this area, so I'm going to build this up a little bit around his neck. And I think now is good a time as any to go ahead and open up his mouth and add a tongue in there. Mask out that area. And I'm going to go a little bit beyond what I need. Soften up the mask. subtract from the mask on the areas that I don't want to be pulled around. I just want to make sure I have a nice clean edge here. Just went a little too far on that. Invert that. It might be a little too far down into the neck. I don't want to destroy what I have. One more time. All right, let's go ahead and open that up. Bring our transpose line right here. I'm going to take perspective off so I don't get any crunchiness in the center, which can happen when you're rotating the perspective on. You draw the transpose line. Snapping to that Z helps to prevent that. So I'm just going to open this up, and I'm going to get a lot of stretchy faces. And it looks like I had a little unmasked area up here. See how we look in the center? Got an unmasked area on the tip of the nose. And I'm going to open the mouth to about there. Let's remesh. All right, and let's dig in. So there's clay buildup. I can either subtract from this area, or I can just push this in with a move brush, which I might end up doing. We're going to have to remesh a couple times to build this interior. So we started with the mouth closed. Let's go ahead and remesh. Smooth down. This is looking pretty hideous and messy right now, but we'll get rid of all this little crunchiness. And this is, I mean, we just need the general opening. Inside of Maya, we can play with the interior thicknesses. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time sculpting out the inside of the mouth right now. I just want to make sure that we have this space in there. After we do this, we can also build in our lower subdivisions and start to form a cleaner mesh and a cleaner surface. We'll get rid of a lot of this extra lumpiness and bad topology. I was really waiting for this part. Want to watch the front there. And I'm actually fairly excited to get to the tongue. Bird tongues, some bird tongues can be extremely weird, especially those eagle tongues. So let's see. This little stretchy bit here, I'm going to pull back. And then I'll do one last thing to clean this up. Just so we get a nice clean line here. Let's go ahead, select the lower portion of the beak. I'm going to come in and use the clip curve, holding on Control Shift. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but when you hold on Control Shift and you start drawing out your curve, you can actually let go of Control Shift. And as long as you're still pressing on your tablet or your screen, or using, if you're using mouse, holding down the left click, you can just move this around. Use space bar to move it around. And I'm going to tap Alt to drop a curve in there. Alt again, until I get a nice line that I want. That'll be okay. Let's go ahead and invert that selection. Switch back over to select rectangle. And you know what, this time I don't want all that, I just want that. Back to clip curve. Hopefully this angle doesn't screw me up. Oh, not too bad. All right, here we go. Smooth out the inside. Just push that back. Remesh again. You know, there's a lot of different ways I've tried to, like when I start a creature that, or a character that has a closed mouth and I want to build in an interior cavity, your choices are really, you do it in retopology, you build the interior and then you sculpt it out afterwards. Or you have to go through a series of Dynameshes to do it. I've tried using the slice curve to create a separate poly group and then delete that. If you Dynamesh that, you end up with this weird webbing that comes in on the inside. So even though this took a little bit of time, it's still the best way that I've gone through to build back in that interior. All right, and I'll play with that when we have a lower subdivision.